Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. So in today's video we're going to take a close look at the wireless portable game console. I have no idea what that means. Actually, this is just a 2-player plug-and-play stick, but they also call this the game of... What was it already? Oh yeah, the 8-bit game stick. Yeah, this is not your typical 8-bit shenanigans we have seen before. No, this is actually quite interesting, and that's also the reason why I bought the 8-bit King, the new 8-bit King. So inside, we're going to have a lot of goodies. We have reviewed a gazillion of these things. I just wanted to pick it up. It does comes with a very nice looking fancy box. But we do have the 8-bit style. But we do have the 4-button configuration for just the normal function buttons and the turbo. And the overall quality, I can tell you, I'm surprised by it, how good it is. Another cool feature that we have the 1-player or the 1- and 2-player configuration underneath, where we can just switch between it. So we're not stuck on a certain controller and a certain, let's say, player. 2 AAA batteries that we're going to be needing in the inside. And what's also kind of cool, you can just see how the two-tone colors. Oh man, I love this. I love what they're doing with that. So in here we're finding the game stick. It's very tiny. You can just remove this part over here, plug this thing in your television, and that's it. But not only that's it, we're needing a micro USB for USB. And I mean, that's actually this very nice looking cable that comes with it. You can plug this into your, let's say, television, or otherwise use a normal 5-volt cheap, let's say, phone charger. Okay, seems to be having some free stickers. Okay, that's interesting. And in here we're having the toilet paper manual. And with the toilet paper manual, I'll give you a quick overview and explanation what to do, what is wrong, if this thing doesn't boot up, and etc. and how you need to connect everything. But let's plug this thing in and let's have some fun. 8-bit King, all the way, baby. You always need to check what kind of HDMI connection you're having. You can see this thing is quite deep, and that's the main problem with these dongles. It won't fit. Oh. So we need an extension cord, and it's not in the package. I had one laying around. They are very cheap. I think they cost a couple of dollars. So what you need to do is plug your stick in, and yeah, it basically ruins the stick idea. But okay, so next up we're plugging it into the HDMI. So that part has been connected. The next thing we need to do is get ourselves the micro USB cable. That's going to be plugged into the port at the side I've already shown you before. Yeah, it's going to be messy. Man, I really hate these micro USB things. USB-C for the win. And next thing we need to do is plug this thing into the USB port. But in my case, I don't have a USB port, so I'm getting a normal charger. Going to plug this thing in, give this thing some juice, and we're ready to go. And in my case, I can also use this on another port actually at the side. You can just plug it in over here. And you don't need the extension cord. Yup. I do wonder where the music is from. Let me know in the comments, do you have an idea? They keep using this in all kinds of handhelds. Besides that, I must say the first impression of the overall menu, it looks kind of nice. Also the controller, the D-pad feels very comfortable. So this is an 8-bit game stick. So this means we don't have any Game Boy Advance, Super NES or Mega Drive. So having here the Famicom, PC Engine, the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, not the Advance. So in here we're having the ROMs where you actually can add new games to this, of course 8-bit related. Favorite list you can be made here and the history. When going into this menu you can just actually see what kind of games have been played. Pressing select it will bring you back to the menu. And we do have a search, so that's kind of cool. So let's say we're going to be searching for Kung Fu. What I do love about this, it's very fast paced. Pressing enter, and here we're finding every single game that has been something to do with Kung Fu, or at least I'm using Kung. That's anything I implemented. But the thing is, it looks quite nice and quite fast. And that is something you don't see very often now. So we can change the language. That's it. That's the only thing that we can do in the main menu itself. So when you're actually going to be playing a game and pressing select and start, here we're having the special menu. With the special menu we can make a quick load and quick save. We have quite a lot of data that you can store, in total 5 different ones for every single game. So what you can do actually here is just making your save file, pressing start and pressing select, going the way back. Also we can just load it up. So let's say we're going to be starting the game. We want to go back, go to the loading. Press start again, and that's it. Works like a charm. If you want to change out the aspect ratio, you can also do it over here by pressing start. I messed it up, but I want to have to scale up. Let's see. And as you can just switch between this fairly easy, no problem whatsoever. So when it comes to the software part, they absolutely leveled up. But how about when it comes playing the games? So the D-pad, I was quite surprised to see not only the feel but also the nice curve. This is absolutely great. You can just shoot in every direction without any problem. But how does it work when it comes to, let's say, if you just want to play with two players? I already mentioned before, we have in play 1 and play 2 over here. You can switch between it with the controllers. Or you can just grab it on a controller, put the other one on play 2, this one on play 1, and you can just play together. But let's try it out. So next thing we're going to do is boot up the 2-player. Both the controls have been configured. Let's see if it's going to be booting up the game, and to have both of the controls ready to go. The unfortunate thing is, if your controllers break down, we will have a problem. Here you can just actually see that everything works just fine. So when it comes to the input response, maybe for some people there will be a delay, but I don't really notice it at all. I'm getting used to this quite easy. But let's start off with some NES gaming. And so far I can just see in here, I do have the idea that the audio is actually slowing down. Next up, let's take a close look at the PC engine, and so far I can actually hear and see this. Yeah, this system just seems to be working just fine. Well, I did manage to hear a minor hiccup here and there. I think it's forgivable, but take consideration that you're not actually paying a lot of money for these things. But if there's only like a couple of systems on here, they just need to be working perfectly, of course. Oh yeah, Game Boy. You don't actually want to play it like this. So the first thing that we're going to do is see if this is going to be scaling up right. Oh yeah, that looks so much better. We do have some difference between the audio levels, between the emulators. But everything seems to be sounding quite nice now. It's kind of funny, in the Game Boy colorless you can see they made some favorites by pressing just B. You can just also remove it fairly easy. So the overall experience of the menu is fairly decent. Also when it comes to scrolling through the pages, everything seems to be working just fine. But playing these adventure games on a huge display like this, I don't know if this is going to be the best experience. Because we were playing these games on tiny screens, and now we have these huge screens that we can actually use, and yeah. By the way, I have no idea what to do in this game. Yeah, that also, oh yeah, and also that kills me. Seriously, I needed to kill the guy that way. Oh boy. But how about the dongle? This thing is tiny. I must say, after using it for quite a long time now, it doesn't get really hot. So let's open it up. So when it comes to the SD card, only 4 GB. You can upgrade it. I want to get like a huge one. You don't really need the space. But these things are cheap and they can break down. So the next thing we need to do is finding a way inside where no screws, because these things are mostly of the time just click together. So let's get myself a pry tool. And oh, I don't need a pry tool. I'm just using my nails. Okay, so let's check out in the inside. How is the construction? There is no cooling element. And oh man, that's the new trend here or actually in China, that you're going to be sending off everything so you don't know what's going on underneath. WinBond, that's the chip they're using. But beside that, there is no information whatsoever. So also when it comes to the connectivity, there is no way of, let's say, adding new controllers. So already mentioned before, if you have any problems with the controllers, you will have a serious issue because there is no way of replacing it. So this is one of those cases that it's absolutely like you can just throw it away. It's absolutely a bummer, yeah, because it's not super bad. Alright, so when you're looking at the overall quality of the product, I'm quite surprised of the quality of the controls. They are absolutely great. And that is not the case of every product I've reviewed from China. Yeah, when it comes to the dongle, it's cool that they're creating something. I was also surprised seeing this 8-bit king stick. Yeah, they keep repeating themselves. When it comes to, let's say, like 8-bit stuff, we do have some more options. The menu looks kind of nice and works very well, where the emulation is a little bit of a problematic here and there. Especially with the NES, I've noticed with Batman. Yeah, Spankman doesn't sound that great. Nevertheless, I want to thank you all for watching. There are better options out there that can even do way more than for a little bit more money. Thank you all for watching, and I already said that. Subscribe, hit the little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video. Let's get this thing out of the way. Yeah, mamma mia.